A new report from the Anti-Defamation League shows in the years since the October 7th attack, the United States has experienced more than 10,000 anti-Semitic incidents. It's the highest number of anti-Semitic crimes reported in a single year since the ADL started tracking them in 1979. And it's something Rabbi Charlie Cytron-Walker experienced firsthand. He and 3 of his congregants were held hostage at gunpoint in January 2022 during an attack at their Texas synagogue. It took 11 hours before they finally escaped safely. And Rabbi Cytron-Walker now works at Temple Emmanuel in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He joins me now for more on this story and combating anti-Semitism in America. Rabbi, thank you for coming on. In January 2022, you were finally able to escape that 11-hour standoff by throwing a chair at the gunman, distracting him just long enough for everyone to get out of the building. So what went through your mind, not only in that moment, but during those 11 hours that finally led you to make that decision?
Well, this is something that I had gotten a lot of training on. This is something that anybody can and should get training on when it comes to things like how to respond in an active shooter event. That really does help to save lives, and unfortunately, it can happen anywhere. The challenge with this particular situation that we experienced was this was one individual who continued to say all day long, "I love death more than you love life." That's what was repeated over and over and over again. And that level of extremism is something that unfortunately we see far too often today.
Since then, you've spoken out about the importance of security training for religious communities and the need to build stronger bridges between faith communities. So how is that going so far? Do you feel like that message is being received? And how do you feel about it 1 year since the October 7th attacks?
Well, I think that right now it's actually more important than ever. I think that a lot of my colleagues who were in deep interfaith, multi-faith relationships, a lot of people felt a real sense of abandonment as a result of some of the anti-Semitism or the anti-Israel sentiments, not the same thing, that came out of the October 7th attack. When we were at our lowest, a lot of people felt that we needed support, and not everybody received it. And my message to a number of my colleagues at a conference earlier this year was that we need to try all the more harder. We need allies. We all need allies when it comes to combating hate. No one can do it alone. No one community can do it alone. It's incumbent upon all of us to stand up and to continue to speak out. When trauma happens, when trauma happened to us in our community in Colleyville, we received love and support. And everyone who's experiencing trauma right now, the Jewish community, so many in the Muslim community, the Palestinian community in particular, we all need love and support and understanding. And yet we continue to see blame. We continue to see condemnation. There's a lot of challenges and there's a lot of struggles that are out there. There's a lot of blame to go around, but what we all really need right now is support, is understanding. And for those of us who are not involved in the decision-making, for those of us who are not involved in Israel's government, or if we're not Yahya Sinwar of Hamas, or the leaders of Iran, I mean, most of us are just trying to survive and get through our day-to-day. And we all need to stand up against hate, call it out on social media, call it out wherever we see it, and say this is not okay.
This increase in anti-Semitic attacks in the past year, what's your reaction to, one, hearing those numbers? Why do you think it's happening? And how do you think we fix that with some of these bridges that you're trying to build?
Well, so let me just also say that here in the Winston-Salem community, those bridges are solid, and we really have gotten just an incredible amount of support from the multi-faith community. I have good relations with the 2 imams in town. that really matters. That really makes a difference. Making sure that those bridges are intact means the world. The increase in anti-Semitism has been very difficult. It's very unsettling. It's had an impact on Jewish communities throughout the country and throughout the world. The U.S. is not the only one that is reporting such high numbers of anti-Semitism. We see it in England. We see it in many other countries, unfortunately. This is a challenging situation. There's a long history of blaming Jews for things that did not happen. Jews were blamed for 9/11. That was not us. Jews were blamed for COVID. That is not us. We continue to be blamed for things that were not on the Jewish community. We continue to be scapegoated, and this is an ongoing and challenging issue.
All right, Rabbi Cytron-Walker, thank you. We appreciate your time today, and thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.